And welcome to Fox News Sunday Panel Plus with Bill Kristol, Mara Liasson, Kevin Madden, and Juan Williams. So, look, we're political junkies. We can never get enough of presidential politics. It's still 2010, but we're already talking about 2012 and the presidential race. And we do have Kevin Madden here, who continues to be an advisor to Mitt Romney. Let me ask you something about the column he wrote in USA Today. We talked in the panel on the air about the difference between being in the Senate and having to vote and being able to write a column. But the criticism that you heard from some people is this was Romney. He knows better. He knows that, look, if you get this deal and you can pass it, but this was, and the word was used, a pander to the Tea Party.
Yeah, I think people oftentimes too much look at the calculations that are made in writing an op-ed like this, and I think this was more of a case where where Governor Romney felt very strongly about the need to really take away a lot of the uncertainty in the economy right now and provide a much long-term, more robust economic stimulus and the forms of permanent tax rates for Americans, so that way you can unleash some economic activity and we can bring back the economy. So I think it had less to do with sort of positioning himself against other potential candidates and more to do with stating a very clear case and a contrast between himself and the Obama administration.
Bill, as our resident handicapper on the Republican side, how would you make the Republican presidential race right now?
Really wide open. I don't think it's like previous years where there was a Dole or a Bush.
Well, I mean, to ask you, frankly, some people would say that Romney is that front runner. You don't think he has that position of
No, I mean, honestly, Dole was majority leader and had run for president and come pretty close, and same with, of course, Bush against Reagan. Romney is not in office, and he won one primary, but look, he has a real chance. But so does Mike Huckabee, and so does Sarah Palin, and so does Newt Gingrich, and so does, 5 or 6 or 7 governors, senators, and congressmen who are running. I do have the sense, and just talking to people in Washington at least, and around the country some, there's a lot of interest in a lot of candidates. It doesn't mean that someone like Romney, who's run before, couldn't be the nominee, but I think the sense that, and I think if you ask Mitt Romney, Kevin can correct me, he doesn't want to be the anointed front runner. He doesn't want to be the Dole or Bush of the cycle. He wants to earn it and win it on his own. And I think the attitude of Republicans out there is, let's have 1 million guys run, and women. Let's see the debates. Let them prove themselves. Let them take positions on issues in real time as these things come up in Congress over the next year. Let the governors govern in real time, and let's see who emerges.
Just real quick, though, too. I would say that the formula that we used to decide who the front runner used to be, it's a little bit more diluted this time, because you could say Sarah Palin was the front runner because she was on the ticket, Mike Huckabee stayed in the longest, and Mitt Romney had the best chance when he dropped out. It's much different than it is in past years.
They really don't want to be the front runners, do they? Okay.
That's my point.
Let me just ask you before I bring in the others. Palin, where do you put her? And do you think, because she's done a bunch of things. I mean, on the one hand, she's had some more policy things. She went to Haiti. She's talking about a European trip. On the other hand, she's with Kate Gosselin on her reality show. Has she helped or hurt herself in the last 6 months?
I can't tell. Honestly, I can't tell. I'm a little startled by that her numbers aren't better among Republicans. A surprising number, even of Republicans, let alone general election voters, large number like her and respect her, a huge majority. But a fair number of that majority say, but I'm not so sure she should run for president, or if she were to run, I'm not sure I would support her. So I think she's a little weaker than I thought she would be.
Mark. Yeah, I think there's a sense Republicans are feeling very, very optimistic about 2012, and they know what her numbers are, which is, although she's very popular, extremely popular among the Republican base, she doesn't do well as a general election candidate. And I think Republicans want to win, and they're being a little more thinking with their head rather than their heart right now. But I also don't think it's clear if she wants to run yet. I don't think she knows. I mean, one of the things that happened this year was that nobody could have predicted that 7 incumbents would have been defeated in primaries. And I think the Republicans are being very wary about trying to predict a clear path for anybody to the nomination. It's unpredictable. Who's the Tea Party going to support? Maybe they're going to support more than one candidate. I mean, there is going to be an informal Tea Party primary.
There isn't a Tea Party.
No, there's not a Tea Party. There's not a Tea Party, but they're a force in these primary states. And they're going to line up.
But I'm saying in one state they may support one
candidate. Yes, that's what I'm saying. There might be multiple Tea Party-backed candidates. It's very unclear. But the only thing we can predict with certainty is there will be a whole lot of Republicans running for president.
The problem on the Republican side is Mitt Romney really is the prince. He's the one in waiting. But he was a guy who supported health care in Massachusetts. And my sense is what's going to happen now in this Congress, even in terms of the debate over the omnibus bill, is lots of discussion where Republicans seek to overturn Obama health care reform. Well, if that's going forward, then how can Mitt Romney be the nominee? So you then start to look elsewhere, and I think you start to look at people like John Thune. And the question again is, what's his experience? What's his background? How does he stack up versus Romney? You look at then the governors. You say these people have governed, people like Mitch Daniels, Haley Barbour. You look for somebody who might pop out, Bob McDonnell, who was the guest on the show today, or Chris Christie in New Jersey. But there is no consensus. There is no one candidate. And my sense is that's good news for Barack Obama, who remains pretty popular, even in the midst of all this. And talk about Republican optimism going towards 2012. I put my money on Obama right now.
Well, there you heard it. But you know what? All of this disarray and all of these candidates and all of these debates and all of these primaries, good news for us. Lots to talk about. Yeah. We'll be talking about it in 2011 and 2012. I want to thank you all, panel. Tell us what you think about where the Republican race stands out. Check in with us on FoxNewsSunday.com throughout the week. We'll see you right back here next Sunday. Have a Merry Christmas.